My name is Warren Elsmore, and built lots of Lego things, including this, which is the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh, in the UK. So this is actually not very far from where I live, but this is our main museum in Scotland. And we built this over the spring, so about 3 months, but spread out. So we did a couple of days building actually in the museum every week. Okay. So we were sitting there behind this, building away, chatting to people about how we built, and yes, they are real Lego bricks, and no, we haven't counted every single brick that's going into all those questions, all the same ones. The usual questions. So we sat there building it in the museum, and it took about 3 months or so, and it was cool because I had all of my team doing various bits on it and working on different bits of it because it's really intricate. Bits of it are really, really intricate.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it looks like there's so many cool details in here. So if you want to kind of take us through the front side here, and then we'll go around to the back and look at that.
Yeah, totally. So on the front, you've got the original building. So the original building is about 100 years old. Okay. It's part of their anniversary. And it looks like sort of a lot of traditional Scottish and English buildings at that time. It's big, heavy stonework, large windows and things like that. So we wanted to recreate that as much as we can. And then further down the end, you've got the new extension, which is the 1980s. So that's all big, flat walls, crazy angles, curves, all sorts of things that are really easy to do in Lego.
Naturally, like this big round tower here, so easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the round tower wasn't too bad. The really hard part, most of that wall is on an angle.
Okay.
And I think it's about 18.5 degrees or something silly. So it's like not an angle that you get a wedge in. So the whole thing is done on hinges and pinned at either side, and a lot of maths going into that to get that to sit properly. That's the new part, which is completely different to the old style. So we've got both styles of building on the front. But then we thought we'd do a cutaway right through. So rather than doing the whole building and then all of the boring bits at the back and just seeing bits on the top, we cut right through the middle so you can actually see inside and see all the galleries inside as well.
Nice. Well, let's go around to the back then, and we'll see what we have on the inside here with all the different displays that are set up in the museum.
Yeah. So this is a really sort of traditional Victorian type big. It's called the Grand Gallery, and it is grand. It's huge, and we've got all the little exhibits that actually mirror the real ones that are in the museum. So there's the right statues and the right cases, and as close as we could get, So we've got fossils in cases. And it's a Jammy Dodger tile, but it looks about right. Even we're down there. So there's the four of us that were actually building it, right down there as well.
The micro model of the build.
Micro model of the build with us, and I was suggesting we put a micro build of the build inside, but no, it wasn't happening. We've got all the galleries, and then we've got the natural history down this end. So there's dinosaurs and various things. It's actually a big skeleton of a moose or something, but we went, Duplo.
Oh, okay.
Duplo moose, that'll work just as well. So we all kind of pitched in with this, and we had some really nice things. So we finished the model. The Fun in the Park set that came out this year that had babies and the wheelchairs in it. We finished this model the day after that set hit the shelves. So we were like, we're having that. So we could actually put all those characters in as well, which is really awesome. And it's just, I don't know how many minifigs are in it, but it's hundreds. Definitely hundreds of minifigs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's really impressive. Yeah. So then what kind of sections did you do this in as you were building? Just kind of ground up, or did you do it in kind of sections of the buildings? How did that work?
We built from the ground up. Okay. We've split it into three. So because there's an old section and a new section, there was a really obvious break. Mm-hmm. So we could move the new section into one piece. And then we split the old section into two, mainly so that it can be moved. Because, this whole model is 3.5 meters long, which is about 10, 11 foot, something like that. And it's not very wide. It's only a couple of base plates wide, but moving something that long as one piece would be really hard. So we split it into three cases, which means that it can be moved around fairly easily. We can take it to shows, which is cool. It gave us a few little headaches of working out where to split things, because the building didn't quite fit with the case, but it also meant we could work on different things as well. So Alistair did the facade of the old building whilst I did the new building, because otherwise we'd either have to do like a full Eldor model of it so we were building in the same style, or it would look really obvious and dumb where he built one bit and I built the other bit. So we could pick different bits of the architecture and work on them at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, and what would you say, you and maybe your team in general, is the kind of the difficulties of building architecture like this versus maybe some more sculptures, some of the other types of builds that you find yourself doing?
It's hard with this because you want to get it right.
Okay.
So you got to get, you got to have the right number of floors and the doors and things like that. So you want to get it right, but you don't want to suck all the life out of it. So if you do, for at least, I've seen some things that are absolutely like pixel perfect renditions of stuff, but they look great to us, but when you put them in front of the public, they're not AFOLs or T-FOLs or whatever. They're just not very much fun. So we kind of try and make sure that we balance getting it right and accurate, so people who know the building can come in and go, oh, that's right, and I know that bit, and there's the radiators around the pillars and things like that. But also mixing that with the general public, as it were, who could come in and go, that's cool, there's a man with ants on his head running away from the ant farm,
Yeah, so funny bits in there that kids can spot and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely, because and also the kids spot totally different things to us, and are at a different level as well. So we have to, every so often we make sure we kind of get down on our knees and say, what does it look like if you're down here, as opposed to looking down on it on top. It looks totally different, but that's fun. That's one of the nice things of doing it. And some models work really well, some you have to be really, really exact on, but this wasn't one of them, thankfully.
When you're working on a build of this size and all these big projects you've worked on throughout your career, is there usually something when you get to the end and you're like, oh, I wish we had done something differently? Or is it pretty much you playing it well enough that at the end you're fairly happy with how it turned out and you feel like you did the steps in the correct order?
I think this one we were really happy with, because we had a lot of thinking time, because the build was intentionally spread out. We weren't just doing it all the time. Building 2 days a week, we could kind of build it, think about it for a bit. We didn't want to have to take too much apart and redo it, but we could if we had the time. And it also meant we could do, we could get in the bricks that we needed, because there are just insane quantities of some parts in this thing.
All the tiles on the floor there and stuff like that.
Yeah, we sat down and think, well, we need to, we want to tile the entire, it's wood, we want to tile it in tan, that's about the right colour. And then we kind of looked at the tiles we were standing on, because we're in the museum, and going, well, they're kind of in a 1x2 pattern. And then we sit there looking at it going, well, we can tile it in 2x2s we have loads of, or we can go and buy 4,500 1x2s and tile it in 1x2s. And this, for once, we had the time on this project to go, you know what, all right, this is where it's a really different conversation working in, as building for a living. We can spend that extra, however much it is, to go and buy 4,500 1x2 tiles, because the result will be worth it. And we had the chance to do it on this, so I'm really chuffed with it.
Okay, yeah, well, I think it turned out amazing. The whole thing blends so nicely, even like you said, the older part and the newer part, it just goes together really well. So thanks for talking with me about it. I appreciate it.
Cool, thank you.